You know, in professional wrestling, there are stars, there are superstars, and then there are the true game changers. Scott Hall was absolutely one of those. He was a guy with so much natural charisma that he managed to change the business not just once, but twice. So how did one man become such a pivotal figure? Well, we're going to dive into the story of one of wrestling's most influential and complicated figures.
I mean, come on. It's one of the most iconic catchphrases in history, right? With just a simple toothpick and this wave of pure swagger, Scott Hall created a character that just oozed machismo. It was totally unlike anything we'd ever seen before. He was the villain you just couldn't help but love.
And that right there is the real story. Whether it was the gold chains of Razor Ramon in the WWF or the denim vest of the NWO and WCW, Scott Hall was always right in the middle of wrestling's biggest moments. This wasn't just about switching characters for him. It was about changing the entire culture of the business. And it all starts with the creation of a character so cool, so convincing, that he became a superstar pretty much overnight. So let's get into the birth of Razor Ramon. I think this was the reaction from every single one of us watching at home. The second Razor Ramon showed up on screen, you just knew. This guy was different. He had this incredible, effortless cool that just pulled you in. In an era of, kind of cartoonish characters, he felt real. He felt dangerous. So where did this whole idea come from? Well, it was a direct homage to Tony Montana and Manny Ribera from the movie Scarface. Hall actually pitched the idea himself to Vince McMahon, walking in and doing lines from the movie. He created this unforgettable, tough-talking persona straight out of Miami. And think about how revolutionary that was. He brought the grit of an R-rated crime movie into the super colorful world of early 90s wrestling. And this quote right here, from his good friend Shawn Michaels, just perfectly shows how deep he went with this character. People, even in Miami, would only speak Spanish to him. He was so unbelievably convincing as this Cuban bad guy that everyone just forgot he was Scott Hall from Maryland. Okay, so the character is a massive hit. Now it was time for the bad guy to take over the World Wrestling Federation. And this next chapter is all about his incredible, meteoric rise to the top. And his rise was seriously fast. Just look at this timeline. He debuts in '92 with those amazing vignettes. By '93, he's not just a contender. He's holding the prestigious Intercontinental Championship. He proved the character wasn't just flash, it had main event substance. But 1994? Oh man, that was the year he really cemented his place in history forever. Now, this wasn't just any match. It was the first ladder match on a huge WWF pay-per-view, and it completely stole the show. It just redefined what a big-time wrestling match could even be. It was this perfect blend of high-risk moves, incredible psychology, and amazing storytelling. An instant classic, for real. And the legacy of that night is just staggering. I mean, decades later, you still see fans holding this match up as the absolute pinnacle. It's the benchmark that every single ladder match since has been judged against. That's how good it was. It's a true testament to the chemistry Hall and Michaels had. And what did Shawn Michaels himself have to say about it? Well, he admits that while their sequel at SummerSlam '95 was amazing in its own right, nothing had ever touched the magic of that first one. Like he said, there's only one first time. That one night created a legend. And the championships, they just kept coming. As Razor Ramon, Scott Hall became the first ever four-time WWF Intercontinental Champion. This proved he wasn't just some charismatic character. He was a legitimate, top-tier main event player. But right when he was at the absolute peak of his success as Razor, Hall made a choice that sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. Feeling like he'd hit a glass ceiling and, let's be honest, lured by a big, guaranteed contract, he left the WWF. And in doing that, he didn't just switch jobs. He started a war. This moment was absolutely mind-blowing for anyone watching. He just casually walked through the crowd in his street clothes, unannounced, grabbed a microphone, and fired the first shot of the Monday Night War. It completely shattered the illusion of wrestling. It felt real. Was this part of the show? Was he really invading? Nobody knew, and that chaos had everyone completely hooked. So, a few weeks later at Bash at the Beach, Hall and his new partner Kevin Nash promised they had a third man. The anticipation was just electric. And this quote from a fan, I think it perfectly captures what everyone was feeling that night. We had no idea what was coming. We just knew it was going to change everything.
And then it happened. The ultimate good guy, the hero in red and yellow, Hulk Hogan, turned his back on all the fans and joined Hall and Nash. It was absolutely unthinkable. And with that one single act, the New World Order, the NWO, was born. And wrestling was never, ever going to be the same again. So why was the NWO so incredibly successful? Well, its genius was in its realism. It felt like a genuine invasion, like a hostile corporate takeover. In a world of good guys and bad guys, they were anti-heroes. They were cool, they were rebellious, and they broke every single rule. They became the hottest thing in pop culture and led WCW to dominate the TV ratings for an incredible 83 weeks straight. But behind all the groundbreaking characters and the main event success, Scott Hall was fighting a much more personal battle, one that unfortunately often spilled out from behind the curtain and right into the public eye. Hall's struggles with substance abuse and alcohol became tragically well known. His personal demons led to some really serious health problems, legal troubles, and a string of heartbreaking public moments. And in a move that's still controversial today, WCW actually started incorporating his real-life struggles into their on-screen stories. But despite all that darkness, Hall's story is also one of incredible redemption. It's about a man who fought his way back from the absolute brink to finally get the recognition he deserved as the icon he truly was. After hitting what many would call rock bottom, Hall moved in with his friend, fellow wrestler Diamond Dallas Page. With DDP's help and the help of his close friends in the clique, he began that long, difficult journey of turning his life around. And it all culminated in this emotional and so richly deserved induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. His acceptance speech was short, it was powerful, and it was just perfect. In just a few sentences, he managed to capture an entire lifetime of triumph and struggle. It was this defiant, hopeful statement that got the entire arena on its feet. It was the perfect curtain call for the bad guy. His impact was so immense that he was honored again, this time as a member of that revolutionary group, the NWO. His passing in 2022 was just a profound loss for the entire industry. But his dual legacy, as both a legendary single star and a faction game-changer, is forever secure. And that really leaves us with this final thought. Scott Hall's life was lived entirely in the spotlight, the incredible highs and the absolutely devastating lows. It kind of forces us to ask ourselves, how do we remember our heroes when their humanity in all of its beautiful and messy complexity is just so irrevocably part of the story?